Hey everybody, I'm Joe Kellinger. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur, and we put these videos together every week to give you all the tips and insights from my experience over the last several years. So make sure you tune in and subscribe, and thank you. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You've been reading a lot lately about drive-thrus because with COVID and the way the situation is, people have just been, drive-through, take home, and as an investor, it's something you really want to take a look at. So I thought it was very important to go out and find you guys a really good ex-operator / now broker that works for a company that I'm invested in, Commercial Brokers International in Los Angeles. You might remember Chris. Chris is head of, what is your title? Director of Retail, I believe it is. He doesn't even know. He's so busy doing deals out there these days across the country. But Chris, I'm very curious, and I think our viewers will be as well. Drive-thrus.
Yes, it's
hot topic right now.
Hot investment right now.
Yeah, it is. And so now you were an operator. Why don't you tell us tell the viewers a little bit about your history.
So a little recap, I was an owner-operator, franchisee for Church's Chicken for the past 5 years. We last sold it in 2019 in June. And then I came over here back to California to take everything I learned from my experiences with fast food and being a franchisee owner-operator, doing sale leasebacks, structuring new leases, even having to unfortunately surrender some of the store sites that we first purchased, and doing that process even as a huge learning experience that a lot of people don't go through. Mm-hmm. How to return a restaurant in this condition that you got it from the landlord is a big topic. Really learning how drive-thrus can drive sales internally from a restaurant point of view versus an external point of view, and understanding the numbers behind it.
Sure.
Understanding that how I can grow my sales through a drive-thru. By having that ability to capture those sales that are coming by and they want really quick service, and sometimes you might have inclement weather, you might have other factors that prevent people
from
going
to takeout. Where were yours located?
So mine were located in Ohio. We had them in Toledo, Dayton, Akron, Columbus.
So definite weather.
Definite weather. If you don't like the weather in Ohio, give it 15 minutes and it'll change.
Okay, so now how many stores did you say you had?
So we had 20.
20.
We closed 4 throughout the entire time. Some
okay.
You buy a portfolio, some are underperforming at the time.
Right, just get rid of them.
And yeah, it makes sense to close them up. And I mean, even that, when you're dealing with a landlord on the structure to return a restaurant to that condition, it's an interesting experience in itself.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. The number of restaurants that you had, how many had drive-thrus, how many didn't?
I'd say about 75% had drive-thrus.
Okay.
Most all the ones that had drive-thrus had great sales.
The others would just come in, sit down, or take.
Well, some of them we had really small lots where this is a waiting area to pick up your food. Okay. It wasn't big enough to do that. We're talking about an 800, 900 square foot building, so it's not much place to sit down.
Okay, so now between the non-drive-thru and the drive-thru, which drove the most revenue?
Drive-thrus. Drive-thrus drive sales, and being an owner-operator.
Can you kind of put a number to, if I have a drive-thru, what is how much will that increase my sales?
If you have a drive-thru, that's very tough.
As an operator,
it's a tough question to answer because you have different factors for geographic region, demographic in the area. Is there a moratorium ban on drive-thrus? What is your demographic? What is the infill, the population? It's a lot of factors, but typically...
Jesus, you're being broke right now.
Typically, you can safely say across the country, if across the country, those sites, let's say Chipotle, Starbucks with a drive-thru versus without, you're looking at maybe a 20 to 25% increase in sales having that drive-thru. Plus, the upside of having a drive-thru. Let's take Starbucks for example. They recently announced that all the stores without a drive-thru were going to close for 2 weeks when the COVID pandemic happened, and the stores with drive-thrus were able to operate.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I like that if I'm if I'm an investor looking for a single-tenant triple net lease, I'm going to look at, first off, if it doesn't have a drive-thru, how is it going to capture sales in those times and such as COVID? Mm-hmm. How do you capture sales? How do you operate? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to look at the numbers versus those with it, and if I can, as an investor in a property, if I can charge more for rent because I have a drive-thru, that makes more economic sense not only for myself but also for the tenant, because that's giving them a better opportunity to succeed in that location.
Well, it's being proven right now going through COVID that having a drive-through has kept companies from having to close their doors.
I mean, Walgreens they have huge 8,500 square foot locations all across the country, and they're downsizing to 2,500 square foot pharmacy focused Walgreens sites with drive-thrus in them, because it's just drive-thrus drive sales. So you guys have heard me say it on my TikTok if you follow me on TikTok, and if not, you should probably. Sorry.
Such a broke.
Gotta plug in.
Yeah, we'll put Chris's Instagram, LinkedIn, and all the TikTok at the end of all this. Okay, so if I'm an investor looking at, I'm getting ready to call you, I guess, since you're an agent.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, exactly. What would I really want to be, if I want to talk to an agent about, I want to get into an STNL investment, what would I want to ask them? What are key points that I should be thinking about as if I'm thinking about this as investment?
Well, first you should think internally on what your risk versus reward is. You know, you have certain brands that offer a higher cap rate than other brands. If you want a great secure return, Starbucks is 4.5, trading very securely. Great financials within the company, you know, and that's something you can actually, I would trust my investment with a Starbucks. Same with Chick-fil-A. Then you have maybe companies that have, maybe not they're more risky, but they might have less term on the length of the lease.
Okay.
You know, so you want to see the term, you want to see the cap rate, you want to see even the location of it. What's the demographics on the location? Is it support,
corporate guarantee,
franchise guarantees too? But you want to make sure that all the economic factors make sense for the location. You don't want to have
signalized intersections.
Signalized intersections are huge, but you know, if you're, let's say, you know, we have a listing on 1310 Pico Boulevard with a drive-through. It's not a signalized intersection, but it's a great opportunity to capture.
Did you just work in a pitch on?
Oh, did I? On 1310 Pico Boulevard? But I'm giving an example of a great opportunity to capture a drive-through space in Santa Monica that's not a signalized intersection, but you can't build drive-throughs in Santa Monica. So that's always going to be a huge factor.
That's something that, you know, if I'm an investor and I'm thinking about buying this property and I'm going to sell it out to, you know, build a McDonald's or something like that, how many extra square feet do I need for a drive-through? Approximately.
Well, it's not for the drive-through. It's more for the land itself. They're typically looking for 35,000 and up square foot pads
to fit a drive-through.
To fit a double drive-through lane in. That's what they're.
Double drive-through lane.
So the big boys, McDonald's, Raising Cane's, Chick-fil-A's, Chipotle probably in a few years, maybe Starbucks in a few years, if they kind of get the idea of drive-throughs. You know, double drive-throughs are kind of the new trend right now going on. And
so if I'm an investor, I really want to look at a company that has a drive-through, no matter what.
No matter what, I would strongly suggest drive-throughs. They've proven to be COVID-proof, essential business, recession-proof, as we all remember from 07, 09 times.
And just so much easier on the way home at 2 o'clock in the morning.
And 2 o'clock in the morning, you're at Taco Bell or
exactly.
You know, wherever you're hitting.
It's so much better than.
It's just the convenience of having that drive-through, and you're expecting to come in, place an order, and you're out within 3.5 minutes is typical standard time.
So it's just a safer and, well, I don't want to say safer, but it's just a better
convenience.
Better investment. To go through these times like this now. So, what do you think? What percentage of value do you think a drive-through adds?
I think it adds about 20% of value. Let's say across the country, pretty safe. Yeah, 20% more.
Okay.
And then that means, you know, for the landlord's point of view, if you're increasing your value in the business, you're increasing your sales. That means, again, back to the first point, you can ask more for rent.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the.
Well, nobody's going to leave the fast food, and it's driving that much more revenue. So, all right. Well, as I promised, we will put Chris's TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, date of birth, phone number, email,
YouTube, all that.
Yeah, all of that at the bottom here. So, thank you for tuning in. If you do want to reach out to Chris, you can reach out to him directly via the information we'll provide, or you can reach out to me directly. And if you haven't done so, please do subscribe, as we put these out every week.
The button's over here somewhere, or
down there, bottom left.
Bottom left.
Thank you.
One of these ways. Thank you.